Today I'm making charts.
Okay.
Now, today I want to talk really quickly about SEC Rule 14A-8.
Oh God. Oh yeah. I mean, sorry. Please do.
So important thing happened yesterday. We talked about proxy advisors really briefly yesterday. I don't care about that, and I don't want to rehash anything. This rule, the SEC basically amended this rule. The shorthand, the Cliff Notes, not boring version of SEC Rule 14A-8 amendment is the SEC, in its infinite wisdom, has just made it harder for individual investors like normies to demand any shit from companies. Okay?
Okay. So what do you mean there? Demand? Like what do you mean?
If you had a certain amount of shares, a certain dollar amount of shares, you could chuck a proxy, which is basically you could make a case that the company should give some report or should change its practices or should do something at a company as much as you wanted if you had the time to do it. There are people who do this. There are really sweet, cool people who spend their time changing corporate practices using arcane rules on their own. But the SEC just made it harder for them. So what I wanted to know is, we can get into the nuances of the rule at some other point. What I really wanted to know is, who does this affect?
Okay.
Since 2009, there have been about 2,000 proxies filed against companies from not management. These aren't director, voting for directors. These are like, dear company, I want you to do something. 2,000 proxies with about 230 unique different entities. These are labor unions, churches, individuals, NGOs. And the thing that they ask for most is actually in that 10-year span. Most of these small investors are just saying, dear company, please tell us something about your environmental performance.
Sure.
Like, we have no idea if you're spewing 4,000 tons of carbon into baby seals' mouths. Please tell us if you are.
Yeah. Stop spewing.
That's 20% of those proxies, those 2,000 proposals, were environmental in nature. The next category was chairman independence, and it's that almost is exclusively for the Dennis Muhlenbergs of the world. Can we pretty please have a separate CEO and independent chair? Can we just have that? There's a bunch of other things, including political spending and things. In 2019, chairman independence was the big issue. It wasn't environment anymore. One out of 5 of these little investors were just saying, can we please, in the United States, for the love of all that is corporate holy, separate the chair from the CEO role?
Yeah, doesn't the CEO have other stuff to worry about?
So I wanted to bring attention to the fact that the amendment is basically going to kill some large portion of these based on the new thresholds that they set.
Okay.
That was number one.
Yeah.
This should outrage you if you are a human being
I feel outraged.
who invests in stuff.
Yeah.
Now, 256 of the proposals in 2019, this is me just having fun now. 256 of the proposals were non-management proposals. That's just 2019. There are 256 proposals, not from management. Here's a fun fact about those 256. A fun fact that I feel like should not outrage you, should make you giggle. Because 33 of those proposals were totally fucking pointless.
Why? Why were they pointless?
They were pointless because they were at companies that are controlled by a dominant shareholder who holds all the voting power.
Right,
They were
like Facebook.
like Facebook. In fact, 10 of those 33 were Mark Zuckerberg related proposals. 13, the lion's share of those proposals went to Google's Larry Page and Sergey Brin.
Okay.
But 10 of them were about Mark Zuckerberg. And this just tickled me because not only were they filed, so investors took the time to write this shit out, send it to the company, get it past the SEC ordinary business rules, get it, like, there's a process to getting this done. Not only did they get the process done and it went to a vote pointlessly, but for a small handful of them, more than 50% of the shareholders actually voted against what the company wanted, almost as a joke, because there is no way that it would ever happen. For instance, Mark Zuckerberg say on pay, never going to happen. So it just tickled me to see a list of wasted time voting on proxies.
I like it, Matt. Now, do you have more? You're running out of time, but I'm going to give you a leash here. Do you have more to say?
I don't really. It's except that all of the ones, apparently investors in their infinite pointlessness decided the thing they cared about was executive pay. All they wanted to do for all of these companies where they had no say was get a say on how much they get paid. How likely do you think that is?
I mean, of course it's unlikely, and it's a shame. Of course it's unlikely, but is there a power to just getting the message out here, you think?
I mean, no.
Good. Well,